My name is Will Cody. I've been into off-roading since about 2014 with this truck, but off-roading has been a major part of my life ever since I was a little kid. So my dad grew up with an old Toyota Land Cruiser, so we would go up to his parents' farm in Missouri, and we would always just kind of go into the woods back behind the farm and off-road back there. And all my uncles and cousins had 4x4s, so we would always just have fun when I was younger. So I got this truck on my 16th birthday in 2014. My cousin had actually bought it for like $700 because it wasn't running at the time. It was in pretty bad shape. And then over that summer of 2014, him and I had worked on getting it back together, got the engine rebuilt, and then put it all together. And then on my birthday, he brought it down to Central Arkansas and delivered it to me as a surprise. This is a Toyota 4Runner. It's a 1986 model. It's a 22RE 4-cylinder with a 5-speed transmission. So it's just kind of like a bare bones 4-cylinder truck. So it started out pretty much bone stock. Over the years, I've swapped out the tires a little bit. So right now I have mud terrain tires on, which increases the traction when you're off-road. I've added a front bumper. It's an aluminum bumper, bull bar, so it just adds some protection, and I can hold a winch in there. So I've got the winch and a light bar on the bumper. I've got rock sliders on the sides, so that helps prevent body damage when I'm on the trails. Got a back bumper with a tire swing out. That just adds more protection and allows me to not have my spare tire underneath the truck, so I can have a little more clearance under there. And then I've done some gearing changes that basically just enhances like the low end torque when I'm off-roading. So it just allows me to off-road better, just have better traction and have better power and low end torque whenever I'm on the trails and on a hard obstacle. So I've got a rear differential locker in my rear axle. So basically what that does is it allows both of my back tires to constantly rotate at the same speed. So that's different from an open differential, and where your back tires on a solid just rear axle, they'll spin at different times, and then all of that power, if you're off-roading with an open differential, all that power goes to the wheel that has the least amount of friction. So say if you're on an obstacle and one of your back tires is on the ground, like in a little pit, and then the other one is up in the air, all that power is going to get sent to that tire that's in the air because there's nothing holding it down that's preventing it from spinning. Whereas with this locker, since it allows both those tires to turn at the same time, regardless of if there's a tire in the pit or if there's a tire in the air, they're both going to have that same 50-50 split of power. So they'll be able to get you out of obstacles a lot better, since they'll just rotate no matter what at the same speed. To plan for an off-road trip, what I like to do first is look at a map. So the U.S. Forest Service has a motor vehicle use map that they provide online. So I look at that map, and then they have different off-road trails highlighted that are either open or closed. So based off of that, I go into my tablet where I have like a backcountry app to where I can look at the trails that I want to run, and then basically just copy and paste that Forest Service map onto my tablet. So the sleeping platform in the back, I built it over the summer. It's basically just made out of 3/4 inch plywood, so it's super simple. It folds in a way that I can still utilize my back seats if anyone needs to sit in there. But it basically just folds out, and it sits up high enough to where I can have a drawer for storage stuff. So I keep like tools and extra parts and things like that underneath there. And then basically from there you just lay out a couple sleeping pads, maybe some quilts and sleeping bags, and then it's plenty of room to sleep for two, because I'm 5'10", and it's a comfortable spot. When I started off-roading, a lot of my friends that I went out with, we just used CB radios just because they're cheap and you don't need a license or anything to have those. But the more I got into off-roading, I learned that ham radios was pretty much the way to go, just because like when you're out there in the woods, sometimes on a CB it's really hard to get like a solid communication between 2 or 3 people, just because it's just so staticky. But with a ham radio, it's a lot more crisp of a sound when you're talking to other people, just because you're all hitting like the same repeater that's nearby. So it makes it a lot easier to talk to people out there. And then like my dad has been into ham radios for forever, so he helped me study and I got my license in that. So I've been off-roading with kind of this core group of people ever since I started off-roading with this truck. And then my cousin actually started an event out in the Ozarks for a few years. It was called the Overland Challenge Series, and that was like a timed event. A new event started with Natural State Overland. It's called Rendezvous in the Ozarks, which basically it just involves a lot of vendors and a lot of participants who just come out for the weekend. They can learn different things because there's actually off-roading classes that are taught, and that ranges from like map skills to driving skills to knowing what you need in your vehicle for spare parts and tools. So it's basically just this big event where you can meet other people in the off-roading community and learn about your vehicle, learn about other vehicles. And this has been going on for about 3 or 4 years now, and the turnout has been increasing ever since.
Hi, my name is Aiden Cagg, and I haven't been into overlanding for long. I just got in because a friend had done it a lot and asked me to come along with him. So once I got the chance, I got a 3rd generation Toyota 4Runner around a year ago now, and that's when it started. It just hit and everything fell into place. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time going out. I've done not a terrible amount to it. I've put a little bit of a suspension lift on it so it can not rattle to death as it tumbles down mountains, and then I've put on some new tires and replaced the entire front end, basically just rebuilt from parts that I've had to order. That was a fun endeavor, but it was really not too shabby. I enjoy going out. I still get really scared by a lot of the technical driving. I'm new to that and learning a lot. But my friend is really good at leading the way and showing me what to do, kind of just introducing me to the community, and it really is a great community. I also plan to maybe eventually put in some fabricated skid plates and just protection, honestly. While you're out driving, it is a great time as long as you're really careful, but there is always the constant threat of like slipping off of a rock or a boulder or something and coming down really hard on the body, or maybe even a vital part of your machine and breaking it. And to prevent that, you could just get stuff fabricated and welded on, which is something I would like to do eventually. For someone just starting, I would really tell them, well, I guess if it's a brand new vehicle, take care of it from the get-go. Don't just let oil changes and just routine maintenance build up over time. If you really want your vehicle to last a long time, which I really wish the previous owners of mine had taken a lot better care of it, do that and it'll treat you just as well as you treat it. As for actually getting out, be safe. Always play it safe if you think a hole is a little too deep or you can't tell how deep it is, or if you think a rock may be a little unstable, don't risk it. Just stay safe. I mean, if you happen to have people out there with you that could get you out of those situations and you feel safe, go for it. But just play it safe, do whatever's comfortable for you, maybe a little bit outside of your comfort zone though, and then just go out and have fun.